right, good deal. Well, I expect we'll have a few other folks joining, but it's actually an opportune time to get started and um, make some progress on a couple of things. So let's begin. Let's jump in. So Tanuj, Vinayak, I'll share the meeting minutes. All right. So by the way, other than get Nighthawk and discuss, I suppose it depends on who else shows up. Um, Other topics that we have. Okay. Well, we'll see if more come up. Well, Vinayak, let's talk about Get Nighthawk. And Vinayak, yeah, Vinayak, you're on mute.
Yes, I didn't notice I was on mute.
So I guess to introduce the topic, so on Get Nighthawk, there's a few. We think that we'll have a few docs, but oh, okay, Vinayak, you might have got it kind of figured out already because this is this is about perfect. Um, this over here is this just a collection of static links that you're iterating through?
Right.
Okay. And then what happens is I see. So they automatically shift to be a mobile friendly, and the problem becomes it becomes two mobile menus.
I will
Um,
have to check with the upper one as well because I just noticed a few minutes ago that it is like not working or something.
right.
Probably like it's using some wrong bootstrap class or something.
Gotcha. Okay. So the discussion then for Vinayak and for everyone else is more or less what I was just saying, which is on the Get Nighthawk project, it won't have that many docs. Some of the half the content will be pulled from Envoy Nighthawk, and the other half will be pulled from Meshery slash Get Nighthawk, like the things that we're doing here, which means that there just won't be a lot of docs. Um, but there does need to be some sort of collection that people can browse through, and so the site's based on Jekyll. And Vinayak was just going through trying to figure out.
I was thinking about maybe using a accordion sort of setup for when it gets collapsed into the mobile view, so that both the navbar menu and the collection menu looks a bit different.
Makes sense. When you do the mobile accordion, um, I wonder if that would still be, at the top of the page, or if that would be on the left. I suppose it'd be too small if it's on the left.
Okay, so are you suggesting a like a sidebar sort of approach for this? That the menu comes from this left side.
Yeah, that's that's what I was. That's when I see this. That's more like basically what I was envisioning. That said, that doesn't mean that that really works well in mobile. So moving it from a sidebar to a top bar, so to speak, um, might make sense. So in many respects, not that you would have to change anything over here. This essentially already is a sidebar.
Yeah, right.
Um, I don't know, this might not be that. There might not be a lot more to discuss. I don't know. Does anyone feel like um, when this is collapsed that that an accordion here at the top would be would not work, would be inappropriate if these are a collection of docs pages? And then, yeah, so Nikhil is pointing out, like, I think as an example, when on this page, um, here's a navigator on this page. When you go to mobile, so this gets a little smaller. This changes to mobile. It's currently freaking out. Weird. I've never seen that before. But we keep going, and the side menu drops off. So Nikhil, is your suggestion just to hide the, like, not even as an accordion, maybe just to hide the menu? If we do, I guess the question still is, how do they navigate between docs pages?
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess we need the navigation menu in the mobile view as well, because like that's the whole point of it. So I think we should approach it with the sidebar, the sidebar implementation, I guess.
yeah.
But like in the sidebar implementation also, we will have some sort of a similar button on the main screen as well, like we have right now.
Wait. You lost me on that one.
Uh,
Also, on the
I'm basically saying that if we have a sidebar menu for the navigation of the docs,
okay.
uh, then also we will have to like have two different menus on the same page. One would be the top one and one would be the sidebar one.
Yep. So actually, yeah, when we so when we say sidebar, um, or the thing that you talked about a moment ago, I think probably solves the challenge, which is this right here is perfect for this page. Like full desktop, this works just fine. Like there will only be 20 pages or something like that. Um, do if these expand or collapse at all when the page is refreshed, that helps. They don't necessarily have to if we only have 20 pages. Um, when this collapse, and by the way, they don't, do they? Like they don't expand or collapse.
No, they are static. Like we are just iterating over all the collections in the docs folder.
Okay. And yeah, and then so in mobile view, honestly, actually, you don't even really have to do anything other than this same navigation could still be there. It would not be that nice, but it would just be the same thing except it's at the top. Yeah, if it was made into an accordion, great. That, like, actually the desktop site would benefit from an accordion as well.
Okay, so by that you mean like we have like we divide those 20 pages into different sections and accordion for those
Yeah,
ones.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because it'll inevitably, sorry, it will inevitably be the case that there's like two sections, something like um, installing, and maybe that has one or two pages depending upon what type of OS you're installing it on, and that and it's like installation and a couple of few sub pages, and then using Get Nighthawk, and it'll have a few sub pages, and maybe there's a third one, but point is, yeah, there's a couple of groups of pages, and if we're iterating over a collection, then we can create our own groups in front matter if we want, or if it's it's a collection, right? It's not a data file. It's just a collection of .md files. So assuming that that's the case, we can just use front matter to group them, categorize them, relate them to one another, and yeah. But Vinayak, you're not inspiring confidence. Like what do
Yeah, sure. I will I'll look into it. Like we can have a simple uh, section sort of variable in that in the MD file and like differentiate between all those sections and
yeah, nice, yeah. One item as you look at the outline of the layout of this page is, uh, well, I guess if this is a mobile view, maybe it's not too bad, but if there was a little bit of a margin on the left or right, it might feel a little nicer. And when you
yes,
do look at it,
it's sticking very much to the edges of it. I will maybe like add it to into a container or something.
right. One item, by the way, this is the week we're gonna go. I'm gonna go tally up the votes for what the logo is. We'll finally get you an actual logo. Um, do you know? Is it easy enough to? This doesn't matter that much, but if you're able to increase the font size, more toward, doesn't have to be as big as this, but more toward that, and it feels like, I guess if it's intended to be centered, ish, that's okay. If it's going to be in the center of the, otherwise you might expect that it was off toward the right hand side, the menu. But
Sure, I will look into it. It's also not like working as we expect it to work in the mobile view right now, so we'll have to check that as well.
oh, in the web view, okay. So other than this, if we review the rest of Get Nighthawk, it's got a GitHub link that's prominent, community docs, home. This describes the project. There's FAQs. These are nice. Who's stewarding it, where it's organized, how to join. Um, Features. This is okay. Cool. This could make for a good comparison between what Nighthawk does versus WRK2 and Fortio and Locust and the other load generators. Nice. Okay. Anything else we should talk about on Get Nighthawk?
Yeah. Can you hear me, please?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Nikhil.
Yeah. So what I was saying was I shared a couple of links in the chat for that is for React docs and Gatsby docs. So if we want to keep the links in the docs in mobile view as well for the user to navigate through the different pages, like what they do is they create a pop-up of the navigator and show a button in the mobile view, which comes up when not that one actually. If you scroll down a bit, okay, it isn't showing. Wait, let me check. Like a small button, circular button at the bottom comes up.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh. Yeah, interesting.
If for React side, it's even better. Like the CSS is even better compared to Gatsby site, but the approach is similar to this.
Oh,
So if we want to keep the navigator in mobile view for navigating to the different pages of the docs, we can use something like this.
um, Vinayak, food for thought.
Yeah, I guess this is a much better approach, like having a floating button on the bottom of the page.
All right, here's a couple of links. The React one. And then we've got a few other folks who joined. We've got Shivai. Gosh. Austin. You guys are having to watch me type out names. Yeah. Don't forget to record your name in the meeting minutes. By the way, does this meeting show up for everybody as of does anyone's calendar get off with respect to daylight savings? Not all of us live in a country that or in an area that does daylight savings or does it at the same time. So
For me, it has adjusted accordingly.
it is okay.
I don't have facing issue.
Cool. Okay. Vinayak, are we tied off on Get Nighthawk?
Yes, I guess most of the things have been discussed. One thing follow on from the last discussion on Get Nighthawk, uh, like there are a couple of links and the FAQ sections, like which need content. So
Yeah, actually, yeah. A lot of the site. Um, yeah. Okay. And nice. And then I guess we're on to discuss.layer5.io. I think we're still having an no, are we? We're still having an HTTP to HTTPS issue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a big issue. Okay. I'll make a note. Okay. And then with that, Josh, do you want to take us through the latest, I guess?
Yeah, that's the latest. Like I just rebuilt the container with the latest changes.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so like there are three items. Sorry, four items. Foot header, footer, hero, and plugins. So for header, these are the submenus which one of the websites that we take in like we are looking into take use the same one, the black bar, the upper one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so there are
Um,
drop downs.
oh, okay. No, not gonna work.
Yeah.
Nope. The thing that we decided on last time was just use the static links. Like,
But we will be having drop downs, right?
well, no, that it would just be like, because what we desire for is the site to look as much like Layer 5 IO as possible, and so uh, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 5 links that they would do just what the landscape does. All 5 of them on discuss.layer5.io, they would do just this. And they wouldn't actually call up the mega menu, and that would be unfortunate, but it wouldn't be the end of the world, such that people can they just wouldn't they would get the same links, but they just wouldn't get the mega menu.
Okay, then I'll do this by the end of meeting itself. It's not that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
The other one is so I also changed the background color for the header, like making it similar to Layer 5 website.
That makes sense. Now, a couple items are your of the static links that we're talking about. Those will be right in
Yes,
here.
yes.
And then, do you have any? Are you able to style these at all?
Uh, can you repeat what?
Or are you able to style the sign up and login buttons?
The colors and all.
Yep. Yeah, and
Yeah,
the round.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Because good. I think we're on the same page with respect to how hopefully they would end up looking.
By the way, Lee, I just wanted to know that like the discussions forum, is it going to be different from the GitHub discussions?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, in a lot of ways, actually. One is that. So, by the way, here's the header. Ideally,
Yeah, I'll do this. So this is having a white background. Are we going to have white or similar to the Layer 5 website?
similar to the. Well, okay. So, if when someone scrolls down the page, would it be able to
Yeah, it will
turn?
be able to stick.
Okay, stick and to turn white.
No.
Okay. That. Yeah. So this one turns white. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. It would seem like we'd be able to detect that. And is there just no way to run JavaScript from?
Yeah, we can. Then we'll also have to add that shadow itself.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, yeah, just whatever we can do. I know the mega menu is really difficult to get over, and it uses GraphQL, and it's so. But everything else that we can do to make it look just like this.
Okay.
Granted, these will probably slide toward the middle, but so it's okay. And then yeah, Shivai, to answer your question a little bit better, is that discuss.layer5.io will be a deployment of discourse, and so it's intended to be for people to primarily 2 things, like ask a bunch of questions and get help on the projects that we have between Service Mesh Performance, Meshery, Get Nighthawk. God, what else do we have? The Distributed Performance Analysis, Image Hub. And for them to be able to seek out, ask questions here. Also, just in general on service meshes at large, how to configure them, what they're doing with them. And so, but yeah, we do.
You're basically taking a deployment of discourse for Layer 5.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so that's the header.
Yeah, I'll just do it by tonight itself. The header one, exactly similar to the Figma one.
Nice.
The second one is the hero. Is Yash available? Is Yash present?
Yeah, you.
So Yash Pandey is working on it, I think. Yeah, Yash Pandey is working on it. Yash, can you tell us about this? Okay.
I think Yash is on twice. His mic isn't quite working, so um, maybe Yash will come back in case you're able to get your mic working. Otherwise, we'll give some comments on it, and
Yeah.
so we'll come back.
And then on the footer, Yashvardhan was going to work. So I guided him about how to contribute, but I don't think he has made any progress yet. So I'll ping him again. So I
If
was, yeah. So is he present now?
nope.
Okay. So I was working on, like I was looking on to how to install plugins, and so that's the thing. We'll have to do it through through the VM. Like we'll have to add it on the container, and so it cannot be done through this interface. So I added the solved plugin, and as you can see, uh, before the welcome to discourse, there is a checkbox representing. Yeah, no. Can you just scroll down on the
Oh,
first post? Welcome to discourse. There's a checkbox for the unsolved and solved. Yeah, and for the second one also, greetings are links. So if, yeah, so I also already answered this one. Yeah,
oh,
so as I've answered and I've made it the solution, so the checkbox doesn't appear on it, so it is written by solved by. And
nice. Are we able to control whether or not the solutions are present on specific categories of topics?
so like you want to control on which topics you can add this solved option.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Nice. This is kind of interesting. I hadn't noticed this slider. That's kind of neat. Um,
And so I already installed this and rebuilt the container, so I was just trying out, and now I'll also add other plugins as well, the Xmet plugin and the other plugins that we are going to use. So I think you got a notification on your post being solved
okay.
on the top
Yeah.
right corner.
I don't know what's going on with my formatting, but yeah. So it looks like there is, yeah, that there is a new post. Yeah, there's something. There's a little bit of funkiness going on. Maybe Yash, I don't want to.
Yeah.
To
So
point.
this issue is also present with me currently. Like when you log in, the hero is having some trouble right now.
Gotcha.
So if you can open up the admin, yeah, and if you can open the settings, and if you scroll down to plugins, the last one, plugins, yeah. So and again, if you scroll down, so there is an option on if you, so yeah, so this is allow solved on all topics, so you can add on which categories you want to have those solved things and this all stuff.
Yeah. Nice. So Yash, I know you can't. Your mic is messed up, but was either the search or the ask a question buttons, were those working? I assume that ask a question just leads people to creating a new topic, like this. whereas the search is more based on a plugin or just the functionality of the site being available. I assume that the search that you're working on in the hero is the same as the search that would be here. Earth. Let me log out.
It works fine with logged in as well.
Oh, okay. The search does?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I just couldn't. Okay, but the anticipated user experience would be basically the same as the search that's going on here. You'd have that same experience here. So Yash is saying that you made a custom component and pasted some HTML just after the header section. And so the custom component and that HTML is this. There's one of the issues that's occurring, like, is the whole page is being offset to the right by however much this is, which seems to have the same effect over here.
I think I'll help him with that. If yes, you can just ping me in Slack.
Josh, refresh me, like a redeployment when there are updates. Well, so some of the updates that you're able to do are just done on the server itself. So making a change in the plugins.
So
then
only if you install any plugin or remove any plugin, so you'll have to redeploy and rebuild the instance, or else anything apart from that, currently we can do it from the like from the server website itself.
In terms of got it, makes sense. In terms of the design here for find an answer. Okay, it was going to be a magnifying glass. Got it. Okay. Okay, and then on the footer, man, I think I could have been done in the time that we were all talking. Like, I will have to harass Mr. Varden about that. But Josh or Yash or Shivai or anybody, do you anticipate? Do you anticipate any more of a challenge? Like, if this is just a static set of columnar hyperlinks that.
No, so the current footer that we have on our website is not going to have much of an issue, because if we have to add it as a customized component, we can add it. And so I think if Yash is busy with some other website work, I'll take on it. I'll just ping him because he volunteered to work on it. So I'll just ask whether he's going to work on it or not.
Yeah. There's one item. By the way, anyone who's on the call, if we've called this out a few different times, but not all of you have been on the call when we've been discussing this effort. So there's a couple of things. If you go to the website's meeting minutes, I think the last time that we met, there'll be a link, and the time before that we met, there'll be the same link. And I think in the community meeting, there's this link is in a few different places. One is a link to the design spec for the effort, which sort of describes what the forum is supposed to be used for, some of the choices that are being made around plugins, or just the approach in general, what we're trying to do, how it's deployed, why we should be using what plugins, and which ones are mandatory, kind of the design itself. We looked at different sites, and Austin took in different inspiration. It ended up coming out with the designs that you'll find that are also linked inside the website's meeting minutes, the Figma designs. So that'll open up, this page here. So he's got the homepage design, kind of what the mobile view of the same homepage looks like. one item, small item here, and Austin, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but this isn't something that we, whoops, that's dissimilar from the main site. So if you'll take a look at that, that'd be
Yeah,
good.
I'll fix that. Apologies for that.
Oh, good deal. Thanks. Good. And then in terms of the footer, he's got it designed such that it's, reusing the same, it's looking as much like the main site as possible. There's an open question maybe, and that is, he has Austin, I think you have something of a placeholder for, what the individual topic pages or the individual like solution pages would look like. And
Yes.
for my part, I'm not. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing was what I found from checking most of the discourse platforms and their themes is almost all of them look so similar on the inside. Like most of them should look so similar on the inside. Only maybe their home page and the landing page is so different, but on the inside they all look so similar. And
Yeah, and I don't know if Discourse offers a ton of. I don't know if they make it very easy to customize those subsequent pages. It would seem like, ideally, hopefully, at a minimum, they let you modify your hero. One style for the landing page, but then a separate style for an individual topic page. Just because this thing is pretty and stuff because it's so big and it's so huge, but from a usability perspective, after I've seen it the first time, like it's takes up all the room and it's just in the way. And so, do we know, are there controls around when a hero like this is shown?
So we can do it with JavaScript currently, but I'll think there would be something present. I'll just look into it. And if you can just reload, so the header has changed.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're getting yep. So
No,
by the
the
way,
links are not. I'll just update.
Oh, okay.
them. So
But
are we going to have it on the left side, or the current one is good, or we go with the Figma design? The menus.
oh, the menus. You're getting close. You're slightly just in terms of the font and the what happens when you roll over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're close.
Okay.
Close, but no cigar, I guess is the. Yeah, one site that so what I was saying before to everyone else that's on the call, that this is what the site is about. If you're while the site is under design, you're all welcome to get an admin account so that you can understand what's going on and learn, discuss, or discourse as well. If you're contributing, great. Okay, and then Josh, about those.
Can you just reload this page once?
Yeah. Nice. Yep, getting closer. So the things are like, okay, center them if you can. Change the font style if you can. It's a little bit thinner. It's a different font altogether. Yeah, add the on hover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a take the CSS literally from the. So yeah, we do want to have a different hero from the main page. I mean, one is that the hero on the main page, it's probably too tall. It just takes
Yes,
up.
I think it's the height is too much currently.
Okay. Cool. And then so that means that Austin, there probably does need to be a design then for the individual topic pages. since whether through JavaScript or something else that we would show people something else. If we go look at some of the other sites, so discuss.newrelic.com, they've done about the best job. So if we go now, when you navigate to a sub page on their site, they just remove the hero, it looks like. So that might be the solution. So I don't know, if we don't have anything better to show, just removing it might be the thing. Is this the same height as the? Yeah, it's not. Something to look at.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So then you turn on a couple of plugins. One of the ones that you turned on was the
Solved, and
solved plugin.
I'll also add the Akismet anti-spam.
Oh, okay. The Akismet and the which one?
And the third one is the calendar.
Oh, okay.
So
So
these three are currently we are going to, and apart from them, I also looking into the Data Explorer and the Mailchimp.
calendar, anti-spam solution. So for the calendar, is there anything configured now, or is it? Can we look at it? Like what?
I can, but I think it will take time because I'll have to add it into the configuration and rebuild.
Okay. Now, if you need, I'm assuming that it would hook into like a Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Good. If that's the case, that same Google Calendar has been used in a few places. So it's used on Layer5 IO. It's also used on Meshry.io. Community. So
Do we
what
add
I
a
was saying is,
redirect from calendar to community calendar?
yeah, we probably should. Yeah, we probably should. So Nikhil, I don't know if you want to take that redirect from /calendar to /community /calendar.
Oh, yeah, sure. That would be just one line addition. I will make a up today.
But the reason I point this out, Josh, is that the token or the password or the token or the whatever, the subscription ID, that info is available in this site as well as the Meshry.io site. So in case you need to configure that calendar plugin.
Yeah, I'll just take help from here, or I'll ping Abhishek or you if I don't find it.
Okay. All right.
Also, if
Next.
anyone else is working on the server side, the IP address has changed. So if you are or anyone else, then just ask me for it.
So other than some of the item, the hero, which I think let's just agree that on the topic page, we'll just have no hero. So that way we can.
Okay, so for the time being, I find out a solution. We'll have no hero.
Okay. But then Josh, I don't know if one of the other activities that we might want to do is do a small set of education on the
How
plugins.
to add a post and all?
Yeah, well, maybe. Except Well, I was thinking more for us on plugins
So
or
how to
on,
add a plugin?
yeah, well, no, more of like a review of like, hey, here's all the options. Here's why we chose that they're set like this, like, so that we can then be comfortable with the fact that we've understood all of how it can be configured, and then are also just comfortable with.
Yeah, okay. I'll just so I'll do one thing. I'll install all the relevant plugins and present it in the next meeting with how why are we using and how we can configure it all, and the settings, internal settings for that plugin.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. And then, assuming the categories are there, we should be discussing with Abhishek on the prod deployment, because if we do it at that cadence, like if next week, assuming that the header, the hero, and the footer are done, and we're reviewing the plugins and the settings and just confirming that they're functioning in the way that we desire for them to, it would probably be another week before we would go live. So it would be, at least 2 more weeks from now. And I'm not sure that it needs to, that we have to necessarily take that long. Like, um, hmm. Okay. Well,
Okay, so
I may
like
check.
if I can do it by the community meeting, so I'll, if it's time permits, I can present it in the community meeting as well.
I think that'd be nice. I mean, this is highly relevant to the community at large. Like, so hopefully, all of us, use it, and that, yeah, sort of reviewing what the settings are and how and why they're chosen. I think a lot of people, it's relevant, and some people may have an opinion. Some people may be able to help. It also would be just again good exposure for the effort. Because we will need to sort of seed some content at some point.
Okay, I'll do
So
it in the next community meeting this Friday.
nice. Oh, this is cool. This is good. Okay, so that's discussed layer5.io. And Yash, your mic is still out, so we get it. But yeah, the hero section for you is critical. Yash, I'm concerned that the search input bar, like I'm concerned that you'll have problems trying to style it, like trying to style the results in a way in which makes sense for that large search bar. So in Austin, I don't know that we have a design for what the search results look like. So Austin, that might be the one. Between fixing this.
No comment, no comment, no comments.
Yeah, you can.
I will definitely fix it. Just one comment remaining to finish up layer 5. I was trying to look for the SMI confluence red and also I'm almost done. And once done with that, no comment.
All right. Cool. Okay. So just before we go on, I think Chinmay, you'd had one on the design for Get Nighthawk and if it's final. And so yeah, if we go take a look at the Get Nighthawk design. So there's 2 pages. There's the website itself and just like the project page on layer 5. So this is the website itself. And I think this is something of a wireframe, if I for what the design would be. But Austin, Chinmay's is having a little bit of
This
a.
design is acting about. I divided the layer. Okay, yeah, this is it. I arranged the whole project into the project and the site. So we made over the weekend I created I've updated the L5 plates regarding them. I created both the about and the refactor the docs page.
Gotcha.
So it looks a bit more consistent.
So, yeah, Chinmay, I think that this is or there are no other designs that we're waiting on. So these are the final designs. Some of the content need that I need to bring some different items for, but okay. So let's go on. So let's move on to the Nikhil's topic with Integromat. So Nikhil, many of you may not be aware that we were using autocode a little bit in the past to help with onboarding tasks, to help with welcoming people to the community. And I think we finally mostly just got fed up with the challenges with the platform. And went to go, it was between challenges with the platform and work that Vinayak was doing on this page. So this page is live, but not linked to because it's not quite done yet. But some of the automation that needed to happen for when someone submits the form and submits their email address. This is a static site, so we needed to have some things get done. We were going to use, there's a bunch of ways to get it done. Right now, Vinayak, this uses a combination of Firebase and Integromat. Is that right? Vinayak, you're on mute.
It's actually only using Integromat now. We were earlier using Firebase, but we were unable to figure out a way for doing all the functions that we required.
I see. Okay. So with the use of Integromat from here and some challenges that we were having on autocode, we ended up moving a few of the processes over here to Integromat, which seemed to work a little bit better, but we've already run into the free tier limit. And so, Nikhil, do you want to discuss that more?
Yeah, actually, the issue is not with the data we are using. We have plenty amount of data still left. We have only used around 2 to 5 MB of 100 MB data, which we get in free subscription. But the issue is with the number of operations that we can perform. So it's limited to 100, which is very low compared to what we do. Like the scenario which runs for the onboarding, it itself involves around 4 operations for a successful one, for a successful message. Otherwise, it would at least run one operation. And currently, it runs at the interval of 15 minutes, so it didn't expire earlier. But if it would have been running continuously, then it would have expired earlier as well. So, like currently, it has the free duration has expired for this month. It will renew from 2nd April. But I was calculating, like even if we continue for next month as well, it would expire soon because currently it runs at 15-minute intervals, and if there is a successful operation, even if it doesn't, we will have 1 in 15, that is 4 in an hour, and 24 in a day, which if we multiply by 30, that is around 2000 something. If out of there might be some of them which would be successful, so it would cross the limit. So it would be a time when, like every month, there is a possibility that we might not be able to send messages to the people who would be joining at the end of the month.
Yeah, like right now, you mean?
Right. Exactly.
So there's a couple of solutions. One of the solutions is yeah, exactly, Vinayak. That's funny. There's actually more than a couple of solutions. So one solution is to have a couple of accounts, like have 2 or 3 or 4 accounts that that would fire off at different intervals. So like one of them firing off every 4th hour, the other one firing off every 4th hour, the third one every 4th hour, and all of them just offset from one another. And in concept, this is something to explore, something that would work. On the other hand, like there's a couple of potential gotchas. One, kind of a pain in the butt for Nikhil, for us, for those that are working on this. A little bit of a pain in the rump, like, not the end of the world, but like, yeah, especially if you have to change your code, you're like, oh yeah, I have a bug, and you got to change it 4 times. And you're like, oh, geez. Okay, fine, but still, maybe it's just 2 accounts, and that's not too bad. Like, okay. Another one is, but part of that, whether or not multiple accounts would work is were the creators of Integromat intelligent enough to limit like a connection to a single instance of Slack, like a specific Slack workspace, can it be connected to from multiple accounts? And I guess we don't know. Or actually, Nikhil, do we know? Had you created a separate account and connected to the same Slack in the past?
By same Slack, you mean?
The Layer5 Slack workspace?
Like a different connection for sending the messages or something?
Yeah, well, or I mean, so there's a shared account that we have for the automations that we have currently, but do you also have a separate Integromat account?
No, that I don't have. I haven't
Okay.
created it.
So it's an open question. Like, Nikhil, if we were to create a second shared account, an open question is, does Integromat limit the number of connections that can be created to a single Slack workspace? Do they constrain that to one integration, like one Integromat to one Slack workspace? If they don't, then getting another free account might be a solution. Another thing to explore is to not do polling, not do 15-minute interval polling, but use an event-driven model. And I think the challenge with the event-driven model is that there's a bug in, or I don't know, like, Nikhil, is there a bug in their activities?
Yeah, it's a bug in their API which corrects the new user info.
Okay.
So we'll have to follow that model, like as of now.
Okay. So
We
chasing
can
them down.
extend the timeline from 15 minutes to 31 hour or so.
Yeah.
But that isn't possibility. But 15 minutes would be the minimum in free subscription, as you can see in the current price.
So that's kind of a third solution. One solution is forcing them to fix their bug, or pushing on them to fix their bug. 2 is two different accounts. 3 is to back off the frequency of the time that we're polling, the interval. And actually doing that last one immediately makes a lot of sense to me. I think it's the 15-minute interval is kind of nice in that when people join Slack, if we have an event-driven model, instead of sending it to someone within the first minute that they join, or within the first 5 seconds that they join, it might make sense to wait about 90 seconds or 2 minutes, or 3 minutes or 4 minutes, because usually you get a few different messages going on already. Like, sometimes you sign up and you're not actually signed in. Like, you're waiting to check your email to verify that you've got the thing, and then you finally do get into Slack, and Slack itself sends, Slackbot sends you a couple of things, and then you're just kind of getting familiar with the channels that you got dropped into. And then if you get hit with a helpful direct message from a bot like this, it might be the case that people would notice that more like after 5 minutes or something. If it's done after 55 minutes, you know, that, you know, it's, I don't know. It just depends on who the person is and what they're doing. Sometimes we've had a lot more success with grabbing people right as they join and saying hi and welcoming them, making them feel really, you know, more welcomed right then. And other times we try to do that and it's just dead, like no response until like a day later. And then because they signed up and kind of walked away, and they check it like the next day. And so in that case, it might be, you know, in that case, it's not, the timeliness of the message isn't super important. So what I'm saying is if we back off the timing interval, that might not be horrible. And it might save us anyway, the fifth solution is it's the basic edition is only $9 a month, which is pretty cheap. Like that's fine. We can go sign up for that. That's cheap. A little bit of a issue, like one thing that concerns me is, okay, we still might want to back off the time because you get 10 times as much operations. Yeah. But we weren't even going to be able to make it a full month on this interval anyway, which means we'll be at, you know, like a quarter of the way through chewing through the operations. And then we start to turn on this and we get a couple going through there. And then eventually like that was just the start of what we wanted to do for operations. Like we want to create an entry in a Google Sheet. We want to create an entry in MailChimp. We want to do, you know, we want to do more, which just concerns me that like, oh, we might blow through the basic fairly quickly as well, especially if we were to move the interval down. Like we wouldn't do that, or we couldn't do that. Is the interval configurable on a per automation basis, per flow basis?
Yeah, we can configure it per scenario basis, so that isn't an issue.
Okay. So for now, I don't even know what I forget, but for now, so Nikhil, with that information, what do you suggest that we do?
Yeah, like I agree with the part in which we delay sending the message from 15 minutes to 1 hour. For the timing, we can work with that as well. And since the workaround started to work, so I didn't poke it to the customer support for fixing that other bug. So I will check on that bug on main thread and see what they reply. If we get the fix for that, then that would be awesome. But I think pushing for 1 hour would work as well because that would reduce the operations, yeah, a lot.
Yeah, nice.
And
Yeah,
even if we go to the basic plan at that time, also having 1 hour as the limit would do. Like we don't get users joining every now and then. It comes at few intervals, so that is not an issue.
Yeah,
Until if we have some workshop or something planned, at that time we can configure it manually to change it to duration from 1 hour to 15 minutes or so. So at that time we can change to it.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah, we might want to initiate a new thread with them or a new support ticket, just because it seemed like there was confusion on whether or not it was a bug or we were asking for general design help. And so if it's a bug, they should fix their bug. So now, Nikhil, it does have the ability to connect to, I think maybe Vinayak, you would use the ability to connect to Google Sheets in the past, which is great because Nikhil, that's actually, you know, what we want to do is when someone new joins, enter their name into the Google Sheet. Do we have access to their email? Like, because I don't see that coming through the message.
No. The way currently it works, it doesn't have an access to the email. Only user ID and the username.
Okay. That's is that because we're not using the new user join event? Or we are?
Yeah, yeah. Like the current event is it watches a public channel. We have set the public channel to general. So, and from the like it watches for message on the public channel, and the message you only get the user ID and the username and what message it actually should. So currently for a new user joining, the message is user Nikhil joined the channel. So we only get that text from the channel.
So there might be a couple of issues, two bugs with them, or maybe it's one and the same. But I would think that you'd be able to query a given user's account and retrieve info like their mail address. That would cost us an operation, I'm assuming. Whereas if
we can get to like if we can get them to fix the bug for the new users API event, then from that event we can get the email ID as well.
Nice. Good. Yeah, good. That way it doesn't cost an extra operation, and we can get it, and we can move away from polling and move to event driven. So,
Right.
So
yeah.
Very good. All right. So Chinmay is on the call with us. Tanuj is being politely ignored because he's being asked to do, well, hopefully a lot. Right now he's being asked to work on mesh map and is doing some really cool stuff. But Chinmay, so I'll say it like this: Vinayak and Josh. Vinayak, as you're stewarding Get Nighthawk, and Josh, as you are stewarding Discuss. We have Chinmay is here and is ready to do something. So potentially, if there's areas to help, and if not, there's Chinmay. There's this one area on Layer5 IO that is intriguingly difficult with some CSS. It is deploy a service mesh. It is this page here. The CSS that is a bit of a head scratcher, or just sort of what we're trying to accomplish, is becomes apparent as you resize the width of the browser. And so there's different approaches. Maybe there's an SVG, maybe there's CSS. But Vinayak is the individual that's put much, all of this together. There's another item, Chinmay, here as well, where we need to be, switch this up so that it's a single, the two grids, the two boxes are stacked on each other vertically. And so, okay. And then Vinayak was also noting this particular page, whenever someone submits here, it will use 4 operations. So it's a good to note for planning purposes. So Chinmay, this page here, I wonder if there are 2 areas that I wonder if you might be able to make an impact on. This one, where the arrow needs to stay together, and it's not just that it needs to maintain its shape, but that it's also the case when someone goes to answer the questions and they say, oh yeah, this doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to put this at 5%. This is pretty important. As they're moving these around, what should happen is that if these are all starting off, is that basically the arrow would be colorized, and it would be the color, the gradient that would be used within here, or whether it's a gradient or just a strict like a thermometer, being filled up, like from green, white on this side, and like half white over here, half green over here, based on the fact that when you load the page, these are all sitting at 50%. So then, if there's 10 of these, you add up all 10 of them and divide by, you get the average of what all these are. And you basically, you get the moving average, not the moving average. I'm sorry. You get the average that moves, the color coding that moves with the percentages. So you would expect kind of a fully, like if you're going to show this to the user, all the bars would be up, So Chinmay, it's all on you, man. It's all. So there's that part. Doesn't have to be CSS. Could be SVG. Certainly seek out Vinayak, and Nikhil has given this. It understands the problem. I don't think Nikhil has had. He's been busy with a number of things. So I don't know that he's gotten time to spend in there, but he understands that item, and then this item as well. Just this bottom. There's Chinmay, since we're covering this briefly, is when a user hovers, they get this explanatory tooltip. Great, it's helpful. They don't necessarily know. This could mean a lot of things, but we tell them, no, specifically this is what that means. Okay, good. Although when they do the slider, that colors are used. So by the way, the colors that are used here are like, this is the dark jungle green in the background of the tooltip, which is a site color. This is the, there's the two light, the Keppel and the Caribbean green that we use. They're all in the, I think it's app.theme.js in the site. They're actually all on the brand page as well.
Yes, sir, it's there, but I'm likely to inquire about the percentage in the slider.
Do you mean?
Yes, you mentioned here that 10% means you wanted to slide equally.
Yeah, it could, for the time being, it could be that you just use two solid colors, like, or you just go from end to end, like, why? Honestly, like, I think this is mocked up, but I like, if you just had white over here and whatever green this is here, and if you just used the gradient between those two colors,
Caribbean green and the dark green. Yes, I think so.
Yeah, if the contrast is high enough. Otherwise, like Caribbean green on the left and white on the right.
Okay.
And that, the percentage of gradient filled, or if it's just and the gradient could be like smooth, or it could be like a very stark, like an abrupt start and stop, where it's more like a thermometer that.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, it would be the percentage. So the last thing is that there would ideally be a small bottom, a small number underneath this item that has a percentage. That, like, hey, if they dragged it to 5%, it's at 5% now. And it would just be a little 5% down here. This is at 50%. So there's just little labels on the.
So do you want the label to be slided with the slider itself, or you want it to be at the end or at the starting?
That would be either of the last two things that you said. I think there's space for it at the end. That makes a lot of sense. Like, it doesn't have to slide, and that would work and is probably the best. Second to that would just be a small label that slides with it.
Yes, sir.
Probably, or it could be static right in the center. But so there's three choices, like off to the right, maybe static in the center, or maybe slides with it. The off to the right I think psychologically or mentally probably helps as people were to see this sliding up and down based on the changes that they're making. So too, if it was on the right hand side, they would be seeing it go from 0 to 100. They would start to get an indication that the same kind of a thing is happening. So.
Okay, sir. I'll take a look at it.
All right. Anything else for today?
Just one thing. If anybody would like to take our upgradation to Gatsby 3.
Yeah, that's right. And so the biggest gain that we're expecting there, Tanuj, is the
optimization for images.
Tanisha, how would you suggest that we approach that? Is that like to check that into a different branch and like, has anyone tried to build that yet?
I haven't tried it, but from what I think, if you directly upgrade it to Gatsby 3 and anything shouldn't be broken. Only thing it will start breaking when we replace those image tags with the Gatsby. They are providing something called static image. When we do that, then maybe the CSS will break somewhere.
But a lot of dependencies will also have to be updated, I think.
Yeah, the main one would be React 17.
Okay. Tanuj, maybe we'll let it hang out there for another week, another couple weeks or so.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, very good. Tanuj, I'll try to catch up with you about MeshMap.
Sure.
And then, oh yeah, so there's two areas where I owe people content. So one is on Get Nighthawk that I owe content, and the other one is on the partners page. I've got a good feeling about today for that content. All right. Anything else, gentlemen? There's one other issue. All right. So there's this slider arrows being cut off from view. If you visit any of the individual blog pages and then you go to the bottom. Okay, so this arrow is different now.
This will, if I remember correctly, this will happen because we are using the window property. So if you reload the page, then this will not happen. Basically, at the start of whenever the page gets rendered, that time it calculates the width, and accordingly the number of sliders are calculated. So now if you reload this page at any width you want to keep and reload, it will not happen.
And it actually doesn't seem to be have too bad of an effect when I don't know. I guess I'm in Chrome. Maybe it'll work differently in Safari. I don't know, but along these same lines, actually, we're having an issue with keeping the text intact as well.
So the text is intact in the mobile view when the view gets rendered on the mobile view, the text is intact. You can refresh it and have a look at it.
Sure.
So do refresh it again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I get it. But yeah. So the original, okay. So the original issue that I opened it up for, let's see, may still be an issue in Safari. I don't know. So if we're here, so yeah. So I think in general, I probably in Safari, it's not that we're having an issue with the window resizing. It's more that it's just cut off altogether. There is oh no, there are a couple of window resizing issues with Chrome. One where it's not switching from mobile to, and then the other one is the text being spilled. I think even if we're here and we refresh, the text will probably still, oh no, okay, yeah. Okay. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, still bugs. So Chinmay, does seeing this bug in action help here?
Yes, sir.
Then Tanuj, is it possible to not calculate based on window, to use a different methodology to calculate the size?
I think the component which was used for this, it was not possible. I don't remember exactly who made this, but uh, for the browser we are using on the home page for the news, this is not happening because that's a different component.
Oh,
The home page.
oh, the homepage. Right. Huh. Well, it's small little items like this that you have a hard time justifying spending that much time on. But these are the things that separate the really nice software from the not so nice software. Like, is the attention to detail. Chinmay, we're counting on you, man. All right. Okay, good. Well, we did an hour and a half like usual. So so with that, gents, thanks a bunch. Josh, I'm looking forward to you bringing it home, being done. All right. That's good. I'm gonna go for my second cup of coffee.
Bye.
Very good. All right. Talk to all of you very soon. See you guys all
Bye, everyone.
the next one.
Good job.
Thanks, Chinmay. Bye, Vinayak. Bye, Tanuj. Nikhil. Yash.